We ain't never leaving. We ain't never leaving. We ain't never leaving. 'Cause we can hit a bang, bang. Yeah, we can hit a bang, bang. 'Cause we ain't never leaving. We ain't never leaving. So let me portray how you're chosen. I could die for your cause. I give you. What's up, family, man? It's Uncle P. I know I'm a little rough. I'm supposed to go to the barber shop, but I didn't. Listen, man, we about to have a great show today. I got my homies, my friends, my family, my brothers from Pearson and Kouchter Law. We about to sit down and talk about Social Security disability, right? So anybody out there that wants to know exactly how to file and how to get all the information that they need for Social Security disability, here they are. They're going to give you all that information. Listen, I told them, listen, reach out, grab all the lawyers you can, talk to the lawyers, let them see just how strong cmpradio.net is. I need y'all to share this live one time. For the one time, you already know how we do, man. It's Pearson Kouchter Law, workers' comp. It's all we do, man. And let's go ahead, man. Let's start it off. 1, 2, 3. What's up, fellas? How we feeling today?
Uncle P, how are you?
Oh, man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, as always. How you doing?
Good, P. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Adam Taylor, how you doing down there, sir? How you feeling?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Thanks
good.
for having
me. We no problem. It's no problem at all, man. You know, mi casa es su casa. So, you know, whenever y'all want to come up here and come to the house, you know you're more than welcome, man. Break down, shake down, do whatever it is that you do. But we're going to get into this, right? Social Security disability and how we find all the information that's necessary. You know, this is the Pearson Kouchter Law Hour, right? It's the Law Hour. Even though we might not go a full hour, we're going to sit here and we're going to let Eric Pearson and John Kouchter break down exactly how they go about doing this, right? So let's go. Eric?
So thanks, Uncle P, once again for having us. And to everyone out there, hello. Hope everyone's healthy and doing well. You know, when John and I were discussing some relevant topics and areas of the law that we thought that would hit with a big group of people, besides the workers' compensation information, the next topic that really came to mind is Social Security disability benefits. Typically, or many of the times, an offshoot of a workers' comp case, there's then the ability or process to then go apply for Social Security disability benefits. But even if there's no work injury related involved, even if there aren't traumatic, negligent, at fault issues involved, people can still possibly apply and obtain Social Security disability benefits for vast reasons. So what we thought we could talk about today is, and we brought Adam along. Adam's a partner in a Social Security group, American Disability Alliance, that we send all of our work-related clients to when they need Social Security disability help. He's a specialist in this. The company he runs and part of is fantastic, nationwide. So what we thought today could be is a great way for him to introduce himself and tell your listeners, you know, about Social Security disability benefits, but also have John, you know, include some information of how workers' comp interplays and kind of how we at Pearson Kouchter handle our clients that need Social Security disability or might just call us from a referral from someone else. So with that, this is Adam Taylor.
Thank you. Again, thanks for having me. So that's right. I'm an American Disability Alliance, and we're a national Social Security disability advocacy firm. And what that means is we're in all 50 states. We're in Washington, D.C. as well. And we help people who are injured either physically or psychologically to the point where they can no longer work. If they've built up enough work credit over their lifetime, usually equivalent to about 10 years of work or 5 full years in the last 10 years, we can often help them get benefits from the government that will get them either through the period where they can't work if it's 12 months or more, or some of our clients are on disability for the remainder of their life. But we can usually get them benefits dating back to the last time they worked, all the way up until a decision is made. So that brings them some back money and monthly checks to get them on Medicare, and it can be a really good standalone option. But as Eric and John and I found out, it can also be a very good option when workers' compensation is over. If you settle your claim and it's time to move on, but you're not able to work at the level that you used to be able to work at, or at the jobs that you qualify for, we move into Social Security disability law, and we can provide that bridge to another income stream for you.
And Adam, what or maybe you can explain, what are the benefits that people would be able to obtain if they were to make a claim? And then maybe we could talk about some of the requirements that you look at to judge a case and go from there.
Sure. Well, the federal government,
of course, right then and there, he's stuck.
Yeah, stuck. Definitely stuck.
Yeah, he's stuck. Welcome to new
Technology.
age, right?
This how it works. This is how it always works, man. It always works just like this.
Yeah. And he's telling us some good information right now that
I know he is.
Doesn't even know that we're not.
He's
listening.
on a roll. And while we're waiting for Adam,
Go ahead.
I can talk a little bit about the interplay. This is one of those coordination of benefit type situations where the goal is to maximize your recovery. So if you can pull on as many levers to give you as many benefits as you can at one time, great. You don't want one to diminish the other. You don't want the receipt of one type of benefit to negatively impact the other. That's never a good thing. So it's important to coordinate receipt of benefits. So with Social Security disability, we always go to the American Disability Alliance whenever we have a client either currently on workers' compensation, thinking about workers' compensation, and we try to strategize as to what the best path forward is. Sometimes when you're receiving workers' compensation wage loss benefits, you want to wait until that case is over to apply for Social Security disability benefits. Sometimes when you're in the midst of litigating a workers' compensation case, it makes sense to also have the same time or parallel track that's also moving forward for Social Security disability benefits. So we try to coordinate that. It works to the injured worker's advantage because at the end of the day, it's about maximizing what you can get.
Absolutely. I would think personally for me, dealing with a workers' comp, I would definitely want that money to be available to me when I'm done with that case. So, you have so many people out here right now today, that don't know exactly how to go about getting this information. So bringing Adam on was a great idea. Too bad we couldn't get him to keep on.
He's still trying
to stay on, but different ways to go about applying for Social Security. Most people will do it and do it on their own. What's the benefit of hiring a lawyer to do that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I can take a stab at this. Again, I don't profess to be an expert in this. Eric and I, we realized long ago, we do what we do, and what we do very well, and that's workers' compensation. And we're proud of that. And just like when you go to a doctor and your doctor says you need to now see a heart specialist, you appreciate that the doctor is recognizing that there's something special that someone else needs to handle. So for Social Security disability, we go to the American Disability Alliance because they're the specialists. I see Adam, it's a perfect segue. Adam, one of the questions posed, and hopefully you can hear us, is many people file for Social Security disability on their own. Maybe you can explain what happens if they get approved, or then which calls for us to act, or you to act, excuse me, is if they get denied.
Sure. Why don't I go over real quickly the question I was about to answer when we had some textbook lecture, and then I'll move into your last question, John. So the federal government offers several different programs for individuals with a proper work history. The one that we deal mostly with is Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI. It's also called Title II, and that is for the people who have the correct work history. If you worked 5 full years out of the last 10, then we can file an SSDI claim for you, which when you win, the difference between the two is the medical requirements are the same, but there's a work requirement in the SSDI claim that I just mentioned. The difference on the back end, and probably most important to the people watching, is the amount of money that you get per month, which can be as much as $2,800 per month for someone on an SSDI claim. Another program that the federal government does have that we don't deal with as much is called Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. That is for people without the work history. The medical requirements are the same, but you don't have to have the work history. But subsequently, the monthly amount that you'll get is closer to $700 or $800 than $2,700 or $2,800. Finally, we deal with Medicare a lot, and Medicare, you'll be eligible for that 2 years from the date that the federal government finds you disabled. So if they find you disabled currently, it may be 2 years from now. But if we have a claim that goes back to the last time you worked, and it was 2 or 3 years ago, we can get you on Medicare immediately. And one of the other services that American Disability Alliance has, where we work with another company for insurance plans. There are a lot of Medicare plans that are advertised, you'll see on TV, to seniors who are getting Social Security retirement, but they're not advertised heavily to people who are on disability. And those plans can often include dental, vision, hearing coverage that you wouldn't get normally with Medicare. Can also slash your deductibles and copays. So we help people with that on the back end. As far as John's last question about what to do when you're denied, or if you should be applying by yourself, we do have people who apply by themselves, but the vast majority of our clients come to us from the beginning. The reason they do this is because this is a intensive process. A lot of time is involved and a lot of paperwork is involved. And one of the things we're very proud of at American Disability Alliance is the staff that we have. Our managers here and the people that work under our managers are extremely experienced and extremely compassionate and understanding people. They're also experts at their jobs. They teach me things all the time, our staff. And one of the things they're very good at is taking you from point A to point Z. If you want to come to us in the middle of point K, we can help you then. But we think that starting from the beginning, because we know how to do the paperwork, which can be confusing and voluminous, we know who to talk to. We have the phone numbers for the people you need to talk to, which isn't always so easy with the federal government. We win a lot of our cases with the basic application level, which takes 4 to 6 months. If you come to us for an appeal, we're absolutely ready to help you there, although that process can take a lot longer. And you may have missed out on an easier way to get your benefits by not starting with us from the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's helpful. Adam, when Eric and I handle a workers' compensation case, and it sounds obvious, but the person coming to us has to have been injured at work, right? Workers' compensation benefits are for people who get injured at work in some manner. Can you explain to the listeners what are some of the common diseases or injuries that the American Disability Alliance handles for people? And just to affirm, you don't have to have been injured. Is that correct?
That's right. a lot of the issues that our clients come to us with, they've had since they were minors. A lot of the issues that our clients come to us with, the physical issues, they can't pinpoint exactly when it started or why it got so bad, but it got to where it got somehow. And obviously, with mental or psychological issues, there is no pinpointing an injury. Those started when they started, and often that's a hard place to put a time on. But regardless of where or when or how they were injured or whatever their history is, Social Security disability is much more concerned with what your health status is now, and much less concerned with how you got there, as they would be in a workers' compensation claim that you and Eric would handle.
So if someone listening has heart disease or complications due to diabetes, chronic back pain, are those some of the things that the company will handle?
Absolutely. Any injury or disability is something we would listen to, because if it's disabling you from work, then it's valid. But some of the more common ones, lower back issues are extremely common. We get a lot of those. We get a lot of people with depression and anxiety who have got to the point, or even more serious psychological issues like bipolar or PTSD, something like that. Those are a lot of the big ones. And a lot of our analysis as to whether or not you have a valid claim is when we pair what your disability is, the issues that you're having medically, when we pair them with your age and your work history. And that becomes a big part of what we do also. If you have a history of doing very heavy duty work and now you're injured and maybe you can do a light job, but in the last 15 years, you haven't done any sort of light job and you really don't have the skills to do a computer job or something like that, that's something we can use in your favor. So all of your history can really help you in that respect, not so much how you got injured, but what kind of work you've done, what kind of education you've done, and what you're prepared to do now.
And Adam, is there a certain age minimum or maximum?
Great question.
For people that can apply?
Well, that's a great question. We'll start with the maximum. At 65, anyone who has the proper work credits is going to be eligible for Social Security retirement, which doesn't require an attorney. So anyone who's 65 and older, and the money is the same, whether you're getting disability or retirement, it's based on when you get it. So when someone comes to us and they're 65 or older, we tell them just to call the local Social Security Administration, because obviously they don't need our help. On the lower end, there is no minimum if you have the work credits. However, as you get older, as it makes sense, as you get older, the requirements for disability benefits are lowered. When you hit 50, they're lowered somewhat. When you hit 55, they're lowered significantly. When you hit 55, we only have to show that the most you can do is a sedentary job, a desk job, something that doesn't require you to be on your feet or lifting anything, as opposed to when you're younger than 55, we have to show that you really can't do anything in the national economy. So the sweet spot is really between 55 and about 62 or 63. But that's not to say that if somebody who's 35 or 40 or 45 gives us a call and we believe that they really are disabled to the point of not being able to work, that we won't take on those cases. We try not to let age be the determining factor. We try to just let it be one of the factors that we consider.
And those calls that you're taking for our listeners to contact you, the review of their circumstances, that's a free call, correct?
Yes, our consultation is free. In fact, no money at any point comes out of the pocket of our clients. What happens is, well, first of all, the consultation is free to start there. And then if we decide to take on a client, we take them all the way through the process with this promise to them. that if we're not successful in getting them benefits, they won't owe us a dime. They don't pay for their costs, which can add up. The medical records that we get, different things that we do that cost us money, they're taking a chance on us. And that means a lot in the situation that they're in. So we're going to take a chance on them. And when we take their case, that's what we do. There's no money due for the consultation. There's no money due during the process. If for some reason we're not successful, you'll never get a bill or anything like that. You'll never owe us any money. What happens is, in the beginning of our representation, very much like in a workers' compensation case, we have our new client sign a contingent fee agreement. The contingent fee agreement states that if we're successful in your claim, 25% or $6,000 of your back money will be our legal fee. And the back money is, say, for example, you were injured in 2017 and stopped working. You took some time, eventually filed for disability through us or by yourself. We shepherded you through the process, and you don't get a decision until 2020. If it's 2 or 3 years that they can show that we can show that you're disabled, then not only will you get your monthly checks and the Medicare benefits that come with that, you're going to get a pretty sizable check for the money that you would have gotten in that period in between when you stopped working and when the decision was made. And we say in our contingent fee agreement that if we're successful, your monthly checks are yours. We'll never touch them under any circumstances. There are no bills due under any circumstances, but there may be some back money involved. And out of that back money, we get 25% or $6,000, whichever is less. I think that's the most important part that we address to our clients, that we only get the maximum fee of $6,000 if they're getting a back check, a back payment check of $18,000 or $25,000 or more. If their back money is less, then we get less. So we really are taking a chance on the client. They're taking a chance on us, and we get paid. Our payment is measured by how successful we are for you.
Adam, I have a question, and I think it segues to what we were talking about before. You know, with a workers' compensation case, it's really important. It's critical that an injured worker remain under the care of a doctor. That doctor has to provide a diagnosis, an opinion as to the cause of the diagnosis, and an opinion.
Looks like we lost John there, but I think I know where he's going. And
well, yeah, if I'm there, what does someone need to do for treatment in a Social Security case?
Sure, and that's an important question. So, what Social Security Administration is going to do, and if you get to the end of the Social Security process and you end up needing a hearing in front of an administrative law judge, which is often the case, what they're going to look for are two things. You're going to look for medical proof that you have the disability that you have. Like we like to tell our clients from time to time, the judge doesn't take your word for it. You have to come in with medical records that diagnostically show what you're talking about as much as possible. But the other thing they want to see, and is a requirement, is that you're making every reasonable effort medically to try and get better. Disability mandates that they'll help you with this program as long as you're trying to make every effort that you can to get better, doing what is in your power to do, depending on your health insurance situation and your monetary situation that changes from client to client. And the judges and Social Security generally understand that. But continuing your medical treatment as aggressively as possible and making sure that we are up to date on your medical treatment and we are proactive in reaching out to you to get that information and make sure Social Security is kept up to date is the absolute most important part of your claim. They will not grant benefits to someone who can't show through medical records that they have what they have, and they will not grant benefits to someone, except under very certain exceptions, to someone who has a long lag in their medical treatment and doesn't seem to be doing what they can do to help themselves.
So, Adam, you spoke about the process and a hearing, and very typical terms that John and I discussed with our clients. And one of the things that we've always strived for is service-oriented representation. Quick, solid answers, prompt responses, staying in touch. We explain why it's important to have us captain the ship through a hearing, so to speak, the preparation before a hearing that comes along with it. We have always felt very comfortable and confident in sending our clients to American Disability Alliance because we know that you share those values. But could you explain to the listeners really kind of how the process begins? They get our number or your number. They contact you, and is it a quick answer? Is it a quick decision? How do you go about evaluating, and maybe just some of the steps towards a favorable outcome?
Absolutely,
so we can understand it.
Yeah, I think that one of the reasons that our firms have gotten along so well is that we share some of those core values of service and compassion and a real understanding for the fact that people are coming to us in a very dire situation when their family's well-being is on the line. To answer your question, people call us. Let's say they call and they haven't even started the process yet. We have a trained and experienced set of intake specialists who will ask you many questions, probably between 10 and 20 questions, depending on the client, to determine what kind of applicant you are. We want to make sure that we have all the information so that we're not turning away anyone who we can help. We also want to make sure that we're not missing any information that could be detrimental because we don't want to overpromise to anyone. We don't want to tell somebody that we can help them, and it turns out later on, because it's something we missed, that we can't help them. So our intake process is extremely thorough, although not difficult, all easy questions that anyone should be able to answer about themselves. At that point, our intake specialists have been doing this for so long that they're able to give a pretty accurate determination of whether or not you have a good claim, something we could help you with.
Right then and there.
Right then and there. Right then and there. You get an answer on the phone as to whether or not we can take you on as a client on your first phone call, the first phone call to our intake specialist. From that point, if we say we can help you, we move your case along to the proper department, depending where you are. Assuming again that you're starting from the beginning, we send you over to our applications manager right then and there to get you set up for an application, which we can do for you. We can do it over the phone. So especially in these times, nobody wants to leave the house for something like this. So we set you up over the phone within a couple days to do an application. So within the first phone call, we've determined whether or not we can help you as a client, and we've gotten you set up to get the process started within a couple days. So you've really moved the ball ahead forward on the field quite a bit in a really short amount of time.
And then after the application, and I'm assuming that that's the application that's submitted with the government to seek the benefits?
Right, that's right. And so after the application is filed with Social Security Administration, we start the process of building up your file with the proper medical records, which will get that information from you. Any other supporting documents that may help your claim, we continue to get that information in through the beginning of your initial decision. One of the reasons that we believe it makes the most sense to have an attorney from the beginning is that Social Security Administration is notorious for denying high percentages of initial applications. So there is a likelihood that at the end of the initial application process, you'll be denied and need an appeal. And that's when the process gets even more complicated. But we know how to do that. We have an entire appeals department who will appeal for you and get you in line for a hearing in front of an administrative law judge. As that process gets closer, we assign an attorney to your claim. We make sure the attorney has your file. We make sure we have all the medical records, because we've been talking to you on a regular basis throughout the entire process. It's a hugely important part of what we do, is our outreach to our clients. And we appoint you an attorney who has your file well ahead of the hearing. The medical records, which we've requested and paid for, are all part of your file. And our attorney accompanies you to the hearing, or these days, we're doing a lot of these hearings on the phone because of the state of the world. But in normal times, we're going to hearing offices all over the country. Our attorneys are all over the country, in every state and DC, like I said before. And we're able to put a lawyer with you, one of our lawyers who has a relationship with the judge. They're local lawyers. They have a relationship with the judge, and they're able to go in and know the judge and talk about each other's families and kids, because they're seeing each other every day. And we think that gives our clients a huge advantage.
And this is nationwide again. So if we have listeners in the area that have family members, they can contact us. And actually, unlike workers' comp, where in Pennsylvania, you either have to be hired out of Pennsylvania or injured in Pennsylvania, you could certainly, American Disability Alliance can help them no matter where they're out of.
Well, that's right. Because it's federal law, we're able to practice anywhere in the country, any of the territories, obviously, and DC. We are equipped with attorneys and all over the country. And we also have staff that knows how to get in touch with the right people and where things need to be filed in not only every state in the country, but every local municipality in the country. So we're ready to serve you. If you're in Bangor, Maine, or Portland, Maine, or Portland, Oregon, either one, we're ready to go for you.
Great. Sounds like a really helpful service, and something that's as John and I know from our clients, can be a very frustrating process. As we hope to guide our clients through a vulnerable time and difficult process, what we've heard back from our clients about American Disability Alliance is just similar praise, and they appreciate how they're contacted every so often through the process and not forgotten. Treated like we like to treat our clients as family, with a real eye towards working for people and them not working for us. So,
well, that's what we like to be about. The people that work at American Disability Alliance really get a charge out of helping people. And I really appreciate the time today, the opportunity to talk about it.
Absolutely. It's not a problem. We do have one question from the comments. We had let me try to bring it back. We had Carmen Rivera. It said, I applied so many times and I got denied. I just gave up. What do you say to someone who is dealing with one of those issues?
Well, we get that a lot, and it's frustrating, and we feel that frustration. What I want to know from Carmen is, is she applying at the initial level? Is she appealing her denials, or is she just starting an application, getting denied, and starting over again? These are one of the things that make having an advocacy firm like ours so important. Instead of applying over and over again, we can take your first application, and when it's denied, instead of starting over, move it down the line. Because the farther you move down the line, we find the better chances you have of getting approved eventually. So I'd want to know exactly how far she's gotten in the process, and that's something we could talk about rectifying on our next application.
So you hear him, Carmen? I don't know where you at. I hope you come back to this live, because I know you're not on here anymore. But yes, definitely, listen, get with them. It's important, man.
Call us, Carmen.
Do we have a phone number, Adam, that we can put up, and maybe Carmen can call you and talk to the intake specialist?
Absolutely. Anybody who wants to talk, my direct line is 422-4727. I'm happy to take your call. And if I can answer your questions, I absolutely will. I'm sure I can. And I will put you in touch with the manager of the right department at American Disability Alliance to get things moving for you.
And Adam, how about if someone wants information, is there a website?
We're at AmericanDisabilityAlliance.com. A lot of the most frequently asked questions have answers right on the website. And also there's an intake form if you'd rather not call, where you put in your information and we take that information and see if you're initially at least a good applicant for social security disability. And we'll get right back to you and ask a few more questions to find out if we can help.
Great.
Awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Listen, Adam Taylor, I want to thank you for stopping by, man. Anything else you want before you roll up out of here?
All right. Thank you, sir. Eric, John,
Adam,
have a
thank
good
you.
day. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Have a good one. John, Eric, how y'all feeling today?
We're
Good. A lot of information. That was good information for everyone out there to think about.
Oh, look at Carmen Rivera at the very end. She said, yes, she was still here, right? So you got his information. I'll put his information up again. Well, it's still up there, right? 215-422-4727. Hit Adam Taylor up, man. See exactly how he can help you get your Social Security money, right? It's your money. So get it. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank these two fellas, man. Thank Eric. Thank John. I thank you. You know, even though y'all didn't tell me what we was doing today, I think we need a
anticipation. It's all
anticipation.
about anticipation.
Right, but you leave me stuck, and I don't know what we talking about. I ain't sit down. Couldn't come up with no questions. I don't just come up with all this stuff on my own, man. All right.
Now, if you understand it, then the information was put out there, so we're good to go.
Yeah, we are. We are definitely good to go, man. We're definitely good to go. How you feeling, man? How's everything going?
We're good. We're we're working hard. We're remote. Our courts are moving cases forward.
Okay.
It seems people are slowly getting back to work a little bit, which is nice to see. A little bit more normalcy in people's lives. But there's still obviously with new requirements and masks and safety requirements, people are unfortunately getting hurt. And right now it's hard on some people to decide, do they want to protect themselves under workers' comp or keep the job? And there's a lot, like we've talked about before, that goes into that decision. And it's not as easy as just saying, I'll make do and let my injuries kind of go to the side and try my best. So, new things, new issues, but a lot of the same old. But we're working hard. We're here. We don't let John sit around too much. That's for sure.
No, Eric's tough. Eric is tough.
We make sure that everyone's working hard for everyone, but our staff is doing wonderful. Everyone's keeping very positive, given everyone's own issues with childcare and the schools and the jobs. And, it's, look, I'm not saying anything that no one knows. So we're just trying to get through it the best we can with everyone and staying in touch with our clients and letting them know that we're here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank y'all again for stopping through. You already know, whenever y'all want to do this, just call me, man. Just call me on the phone and we can do it, man, without a doubt. Again,
great.
Anything you want to say before you roll out?
No, just, we're here if you need us. Times are tough. Times are changing. What may not have worked for you 6 months ago may work for you now. If you can't get back to work, if you've got a nagging injury, something that happened at work, let's talk about it. It's good to have options, and we'll tell it to you straight. No fluff, no smoke. We're transparent. We'll give you the cold, hard facts. That's what we're about.
And we would love to know if there's any topics or any specific questions that your viewers might have, if they can if they want to send them to you ahead of time. And we're happy to invite other guests that are meaningful to the listeners. And I know people certainly don't want to just keep hearing me and John talk.
No, they do. They do.
No,
because you got.
Well, to a point. Even my daughter, and she says a little bit that, and then there's that point, right?
Right. You get to be too much, right? But no, you're
so
necessary.
We want everyone to hear what we got and see who we kind of have in our group, and if there's we want to talk with people, not at them. So whatever anyone wants to hear, we're happy to bring to the listeners.
So we'll put a post up today. We'll see what exactly they want to hear from, and I'll get that information to Megan.
Great.
All right.
Great.
Awesome.
Stay well, stay healthy.
Absolutely. You as well.
Good seeing you.
Take care, P.
You, all right, John. Be good. Man, listen, man. Uncle P. Wow. Social Security, right? Here's the information right here. Here's the number, right? Where is it? 215-422-4727. Adam Taylor, man. Hit him up and see exactly how he can help you with your Social Security claim. Listen, if you got an uncle, you got an aunt, you got a mom, you got a dad, you got a grandma, you got anybody older than you that's looking for Social Security, man. And even if you're hurt, you've been hurt, you can't go back to working the way you usually work, Social Security, right? So hit them up, man. Make sure you get with them so they can help you get your money. That's what it's all about, man. Finding out those little resources that we can help each other gain to the point where we need to be able to gain to. Man, it's cmpradio.net, man. It's always, constantly, man. It's waves, man. We out of here.